Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Today we are going to start database management system. First is introduction of this chapter. What is database management system? A DBMS or database management system is a complex software system. It is a software system that is used to manage, store and manipulate data. So here we are going to maintain data. Database management system. Here we are going to manage data, store data and manipulate data. It is utilized by a large variety of users to retrieve and manipulate data under its control. What is DBMS? DBMS means combination of database plus management system. Here we are going to manage the database. So it is a combination of database plus management system. Database is a collection of data and management system is a set of programs. So here are the programs which are going to manage the data, collection of data, to store and retrieve those data. So these systems are used to store as well as retrieve that data. These are the basic terms and definition that we are going to learn into this chapter. First is data and information, then data versus information, data dictionary, data item or field, and record. These two part we have covered in last lecture also. We will see in this lecture also, but you are very well aware about this data item and field and record. So first, what is data? Data means a raw fact and figure. Means that data means that is a bit of information. Bit means part of information. That is not actual information. Using that data or bit of that information, we can process the information or we can get the meaningful information. Only I already told that only 4801. Nobody understand that. But 4801, after that one name is there, after that address is there, after that mobile number is there. Means by using this we can find that yes, this is a particular student data or this is particular person data. So here data are simply facts or figure. Bits of information, parts of information, but not information itself. Using this we can form the information. Example, student name, individual. Individual student name, individual address, contact number. These are the separate part. These are called as a data. Then information, on this part we will process this data and we will get the information. When data are processed, interpreted, organized, structured or presented so as to make them meaningful. Here raw facts and figure is here, we will make it meaningful. That is called as a information. These are the different data. For example, roll number, name, address, phone number. We will combine that data process together. After that, we will get the information. Data versus information definition part will become, because this is a difference. So in difference, we will see first what is data and here what is information. So definition, data is raw, unorganized facts that need to be processed to make it meaningful. Data are simply facts or figures, bits of information, but not information itself. And opposite to this, information is a set of data that is processed in a meaningful way according to the given information. According to the given information. So this is the definition of data and information. Here is raw facts and figure. Here is a meaningful information or meaningful data is processed data in meaningful way. Then data does not have any specific purpose, but when we will process the data, that time we will get some specific purpose. For what purpose we have processed that data. So information carries a meaning that has been assigned by interpreted data. Data alone has no significance. Information is significant by itself. Data never depend on information, but information is dependent on data. Using this data only, we are going to form the information. So information is dependent on data. Data measured in bits and bytes, information measured in meaningful units like time, quantity. Data can be structured, tabular data, graph data, tree data. Information is a language, ideas, and thoughts based on the given data. Example, each student's test score is one of the piece of data. Separate test score is one of the piece of data. But when we will get average score of that class or entire school, that is the information that can be derived from the given data, and that data is we will get from this side. So this is difference between data and information. Do you have any doubt in this difference?
No, ma'am. No,
And
ma'am.
here I have given one more example. Only 100 number is written. We don't know what is that, whether it is 100 rupees, 100 runs, or anything else. We don't know. Only 100 is there. That is called as a data. Raw thing is there. But at the time of information, we have given here unit. What is this? 100 miles. Using this, you will come to know, yes, this is the information. This is 100 miles. We have only these two part, but I have given this knowledge and wisdom also. In knowledge, what you will say, 100 miles is quite a far distance. This is your knowledge. Yes, this is a far quite distance. And what is the wisdom? Your wisdom will tell that it is a very difficult to walk 100 miles by any person, but vehicle transport is okay. This is the wisdom part. We have to think about these two only, but after the using this information, we can show the knowledge and wisdom part also. So here, this is a raw fact, and here we are giving some unit to it to make it meaningful. What is this 100? We can write 100 runs also here, 100 years. So using this unit, we can make this 100 meaningful. We have processed this data and show this meaningful information to the user. Then one more important part of this is a data dictionary. What is data dictionary? Data dictionary is a file or set of files that contain databases metadata. Metadata means data about data. What that particular database contains, you will write something that part into this metadata. So that is also one file or set of files. It will contain databases metadata. Data dictionary contains records about other objects in the database. For example, we have created table. Yesterday also we have seen we can create table into database. So database table is one object. Here this data dictionary contains record about other objects. For example, it will contain record about table. How many tables are there in your database? What are the names of that table? What type of data it is going to store? That is called as a data about data. If table is there, what that student table is going to contain means data about that data, that is going to store under this data dictionary. Plus we will tell about data ownership, who is the owner of that data. For example, student, and Pune College is the owner of that student data. Data relationship, if there are multiple tables, student and examination, then how these two tables are going to relate with each other, that is called as a data relationship to other objects. And other type of data also we can show here in data dictionary. The data dictionary is a crucial component of any relational database. It contains metadata. Remember this word, metadata means what? Data about the database or data about data. You can think about this only. Data about data means what? Particular thing is there and you have to write the description of that particular thing. That is called as a data about data. A data dictionary contains information about attributes or fields of a certain data set. Attributes or fields means column part of your table. What that column is going to contain. For example, roll number is there. So roll number means that particular column will contain numbers only. What type of number it will contain, from where to, means what is the range of that table. That part you can write here into this data dictionary. This is the metadata in the data dictionary includes the following thing. What it will contain: first, names of all tables in the database and their owners. So how many tables are there? For all table, you will write the names of that table and who are the owner of that database or that tables, that you will write into this first part. Then names of all indexes and columns to which table in those indexes related. So student table is there. Yesterday also we have seen roll number or ID field is the unique number, and we can mark it as a primary key. Primary key means that is there we have marked the index for that particular column. So which column contain primary key, that you will mention here. Which column contain foreign key, you will learn about foreign key in the next chapter, but these are also keys. So these are also indexes, keys part, so that you will write here. Then constraint define on table. Constraint means rules. What rules we are going to apply on table, that is called as a constraint. Remember this, in every question of DBMS practical you will get this word constraint. What constraint you have to apply on table. Constraint means rules. So here we have to define the constraint including primary key. For which column we have to apply this primary key. This is also constraint. Once we have applied primary key on particular column, that column will contain only unique value. That is the constraint. That is the rule. If you are trying to enter repeated value, duplicate value, it will give error. So here we have apply the constraint, apply the rule. Then foreign key, you will come to know about this in next chapter. Foreign key is related with this only. If we are going to connect two tables and one table contain primary key, the same column in another table contain will be considered as a foreign key. I will tell you in the practical part. Then other relationship will be there with the tables. And not null constraint. Not null means particular column should not be null. It should contain some value. We cannot keep that column blank. That is called as a not null constraint. So you have to be aware about this concept, because in each and every table we have to apply these constraints. Then additional physical information about the table, including their storage location, storage method. So where we have saved the data, that part also we can show under data dictionary. And storage method means using which method we have stored that information. Sequential, index, hashed. So what method we have used, that you will write here. Then last accessed information of the object. When we have accessed particular table last time, when we have accessed particular database last time, that information will be mentioned under this data dictionary. Plus last updated information of the object. When we have updated table, particular table data, that information also you will get. So any doubt in this data dictionary, what metadata will contain about particular object? Any doubt?
Ma'am, can you just show us the primary key, how to use primary key for data dictionary?
Okay, that I will show. Anything else?
No, ma'am, that's it.
So first, uh, we will start from this name of the all table in the database and their owner. We have already created one table. For example, college table I am going to open here. Here is one table. We will create more tables. So we have at at least one more table, employee. Save it. Employee or exam detail. So you will, I'm going to show you foreign key also. Exam. ID will be here. This is just example. Exam name, subjects, subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, and roll number. Roll underscore number. These two should be same. First, what we have to do? Names of all tables in the database. We have a database name is college. Names of all tables. College database. What are the names? Student and exam. So these are tables under this student and exam. These are the table under this college database. Got this first point? Names of all tables in the database and their owner, means who is the owner of these tables or database. For example, if this is the Pune college, so Pune college will be the owner. Got this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now second, name of all indexes and the column to which table in those indexes relate. So here in this table, go to the design view. Here, this is the primary key, this key. It will show here in the design part, that is a key picture is there. So this particular column is a key field, index field. So you can mention here a roll number as a primary key. Then in this table, no more keys are available. Close this. In the second table, same ID is here as a key for this table. So ID primary key. So how many indexes are there? That are that we have to mention under the second name of the indexes with column. Then I have mentioned one more thing is roll number, that we have to relate. Relationship is different part, how we can relate these two table each other, that I will show in later part. But here you can see in the student table also roll number is mentioned, and in the examination table also roll number is mentioned. So these two are related table. We have to show the relationship between these two table. Means here we will get the basic information of student in this student table, but for which exam that student is going to appear, that exam name, which are the subject, then roll number of the student. So using this roll number, you will come to know that this is the information, this particular row, this information is of which student. By using this number, you will come to know. So here is a 1, so that number should be here. Then and then only we can show the relationship. Otherwise, we cannot find the data into this exam table of this particular student. So whatever roll number is here, that roll number should be mentioned here inside this exam table. Then and then only you will get the information. Otherwise, you will get nothing. So this column which we have make primary key in the student table, that is called as a foreign key of the exam table. One column is a primary key of the main table. This is a main table. This is a primary key, roll number. And same column if appearing in the second table, that is called as a foreign key. Remember this. One table primary key can be a foreign key of second table. So roll number is the foreign key. These are the indexes of these tables, student and exam. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now next constraint. Now we have to apply the constraint. Yesterday we have seen this constraint, primary key constraint. So here on this table, go to the design view. This one. This is a primary key. Using here you can apply directly apply using design menu. We can apply the primary key constraint on this table. So if primary key is there means this column should not get the repeated value. Only unique value is there. That is a constraint. We have apply constraint on this particular column. That primary key is not applied on this column. So this other column can contain repeated data. For example, sorry, here, if you here this is not allowed because the data type is auto number. I can write Ramesh again, Pune also again, same number. Repeated data is allowed for these three columns because we have not mentioned their primary key. But this column is a primary key column. Here repeated data is not allowed. So this is the first constraint. Foreign key, implementation of foreign key we will see in that chapter only because we have to that data could be repeated but we have to mention that foreign key value into second table. So how many data is here, that number we can use here inside this table. This is the second student data. Then third student will come. That data we have to show here. So this could be repeated. Foreign key data should be could be repeated, but primary key data should not be repeated. Then next constraint is not null. This is a very important constraint. See now I am on this table, that is student table. If I don't write anything inside this column, I need to check. These two columns are null. Means I have not entered any value inside this column. Then also it is allowed. But if you want to apply not null constraint on these columns, student name, address, mobile, then what we have to do, go to design view, student design view, go on that particular column. Suppose this is text column. Here required field. This is a no by default. Means if you are not enter anything, that is also okay. You can make it yes. Means compulsorily we have to enter data into that column. So save it. I have made only first column as a required column. Sorry, student name as a required one. These two can be null. So if you want to apply any constraint on particular table, this now this column should not be null. If you don't write here, it will give message like this. You must enter value in the student.sname because we have make it required now. So that is a not null constraint. If you want to force user to enter data into that column, then you can make it required field. Clear? Not null constraint. The column should not be null. Not null constraint means column should not be null. Now, if I have entered here some data, then it's okay. I can go to the next line. Otherwise, it will force us to enter data into that column. And that is the not null constraint. Clear? Constraint primary key, not null, foreign key we will see in the practical part. Yes, clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now next is last access information of object, last updated information that you will get from here also. For example, you can check here also properties. Yeah. When we have created this, when it is modified, when it is accessed, all information will be shown here. But where is our student table? College, no? College, documents and college. Go to that folder. This is a college database. Go to properties. When we have created this yesterday, November 12, and time. When we have modified and access today, November 13, 2021, 1 minute ago. We have modified this. First time we have accessed it yesterday at this time only. This is the first time access. Hmm. Here we have, after access, we have modified this today. So this information is a part of data dictionary. In data dictionary, you will get all that information. This is about metadata. What metadata will contain, that is I have shown just now. Clear? This is also where we have located our particular database. I have just shown you my documents. In that my document, I can find out my database. Which storage method we have used, whether it is sequential, indexed we have used, we have created primary key. So index method we have used. So this is data dictionary. Here is example. Table name you will write here above this, and these are the fields of that table. Student ID, student name, student address, and other, if other fields are there, you can write that field name also. What is the data type of that field? You will get from here. That this dictionary part you have to write separately. This is in software, but at the type of project submission, you have to show table like this, data dictionary of your table. So data dictionary of student, you will write the student name, then its field name, data type of that particular field. Student ID, yes, number is the data type, text is the data type of student name, and text is the data type of student address. Then what is the field length? Long, how much character it will take, how much number it will take, how much character it will take, how much character it will take. That is the field length. Then constraint, we have seen this primary key constraint. So this is the ID field. So primary key constraint we have applied on this field. Plus for all these remaining these two field, we have applied not null constraint. If that particular field is not compulsory, you cannot, you will keep it blank. You can make one more column and you can keep it blank. That field is not compulsory. If user has some data, he will enter. Otherwise, he will keep it blank. So if there is nothing, no constraint is applied, we can keep it blank. Then description of this column. What this column is going to contain. Here student ID, you can write in detail also. This column will contain roll number of student. This column will contain name of the student. This column will contain address of the student. So this is the description. So this is the sample example of data dictionary. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Now, these two fields, you are aware about this data item or field. means column of your table. So database table is composed of records and fields that holds data, and a field is a part of a record and contains single piece of data for the subject of record. So here in the data dictionary also you can find out field name, student ID, name, and student address. So single part of information that is called as a field. Field appears as a column in the database table. And what is record? Data is stored in records, means meaningful data, processed data, that is called as a record. A record is a composed of fields and contains all the data about one particular person, company, or item in a database. So particular record will show the data related with that particular person, company, or item. So these are the basic terms of database, DBMS, basic concepts and definitions. Data and information, data versus information, data dictionary, data item or field, and record. Is there any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Everything is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
In definition of DBMS, in any organization, data is the basic resource needed to run the organization. For any organization, data is the basic resource or basic asset. Using that, we can run the organization. The database is used to store information useful to an organization. Irrelevant information organization will not save. Only related information that is benefited for that particular organization that will be stored into the database. A database is a collection of interrelated data which is designed to fulfill the information needed. Interrelated means we have seen there are multiple tables. So one table information can be fetched by other table also. I have shown the roll number in the second table also. So using that roll number, we can fetch the data of the row of the particular table. So that is interrelated data. Database is a collection of interrelated data which is designed to fulfill the information needed. So if you want to get particular subject, means a particular student is there and which subject he is going to, for which subject he is going to appear for in the examination. If you want to get that data, you will fetch the data from the exam table. So they are interrelated and you will get the information as per your requirement. Applications of DBMS. See here application word is there. Whenever application word is there, means you have to think about where we can implement this part. Here could be anything, application of DBMS, application of data structure, application of C. Application means where that particular thing is implemented in real life, implementation. That is called as a application. So here you can check telecom industry. These are the different industry. They are going to save their data into database. That's why this is the application. They have used our database to save their data. That is called as an application. So telecom, there is a database to keep track of the information. Why they are using this database? There is a database to keep track of the information regarding calls made, network usage, customer details. So they are using database for this purpose. So this is the application. Without the database system, it is hard to maintain that huge amount of data that keeps updating every millisecond. Whatever changes are there, we are going to store that changes into database. Whenever we are going to access particular data, you will get recent data. For example, vaccination. How many students are vaccinated? How many persons are vaccinated? So total count you are getting, updated count you are getting because of database. Manually it is not possible. It is hard to maintain. But if you are maintaining that part in database, easy to access that data, easy to get the count of total vaccinated person. Then industry, where it is manufacturing unit, warehouse or distribution center. Each one need a database to keep the record of ins and outs. So which industry doesn't matter. Every industry require this database to store their data. For example, distribution center should keep a track of the product units that supplied into a center as well as the products that got delivered out from the distribution center. So how many products they have produced, how many products they have supplied, everything is mentioned inside this table, and within a second you can get the report of that because everything is digitalized. Within a second you will get the report of your purchase, your selling, and on the basis of that you can plan for the future which products are more sellable, so we can produce that more. Who are the customer who can buy, means how many customers are there who can buy this product. So on the basis of that report industry can think about their future. Then banking system, net banking is there. Mostly now we are using net banking systems, Google Pay, for storing customer info, tracking day-to-day credit and debit transaction, generating bank statement, etc. All this work has been done with the help of database management system. Which database they are using? That is application different part. But main thing that application comes under database management system, that is DBMS. And this industry or this organization using this database management system, that's why it is application. Then sales to store customer information, production information, and invoice details. At this sites also, we are using database. Airline to travel through airlines, we make early reservation. This reservation information along with flight schedule is stored in the database. Education sector, database systems are frequently used in the schools and colleges to store and retrieve the data regarding student details, staff detail, course detail, exam detail, payroll data, attendance detail, fees detail, etc. So these are the requirement. For this requirement, education sector is using database. There is a lot amount of interrelated data that need to be stored and retrieved in efficient manner. So how many students are admitted from FY, from SY, from TY? We have already stored that data into database. Immediately we can fetch that data using query. Online shopping, you must be aware of the online shopping websites such as Amazon, Flipkart. These sites store the product information, your addresses and preferences, credit card details, and provide you the relevant list of product based on your query. All these involves a database management system. So in DBMS, our whole information is stored. If you are doing online shopping, once you have done, your complete data is stored with them. Next time when you are going to visit that particular site, last time what you have purchased, on the basis of your choice, they will show you the product. So this is the application of DBMS. We can add more application also. I have given some example here where we can use the database. That is the application. Telecom, industry, banking system, sales, airline, education sector, online shopping. You can add more also on the basis of how many marks are there for that particular question. On the basis of that, you can add more applications. So understood applications of DBMS?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
We will stop here only. Tomorrow or in next lecture, we will see next part. That is file processing system versus DBMS. So in today's lecture, we have seen basic terms related to database, database management system definition, and applications of DBMS. So is there any doubt in these points? If any doubts, you can ask me. Anybody? Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Yes, here we have to use DBM, this Access software only. At this point, we have to use Access software. Oracle is also required for next one two chapters are there. In that chapter, we are going to implement queries. So for that level, we will use Oracle software. In Access also, we can execute that queries. But for queries, it's better to use Oracle. Anybody else? Yes. Okay, thank you then. You can leave the meeting.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. For DBMS, I have given my own notes. I have not used any single book. I have taken parts from books. For example, we can say data from various books, and I have created information. That is my notes. You can use my notes also. That is sufficient.
Ma'am, can you send that PDF?
PPT is there. I will send PPT.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
See, now we are on second chapter only. So till now we are using Access. But for queries, you can use Oracle. Okay, then thank you. You can leave.